Howdy, everybody. So, Life Lesson Friday for August 16th, 2024 has to do with knowledge. And this came up at the cross country meet I was at this morning when a parent of one of the kids that I'm not actively training, but he's been to some of my camps that I've done. And they go to our church, they're friends of ours. And so, parent came up to me and it was right before his son's race and was asking me a question about what I thought about, some different coaching and things that apparently his son's coach was saying right before the race. And he was asking my opinion about different things. And it made me think about the fact that so many of us hear and are told, and I mean, there's been commercials that have said, knowledge is power, right? And like, oh my gosh, knowledge is power. And the education system wants you to believe that knowledge is power. Knowledge is great and knowledge is helpful. But how do you implement knowledge is what's important. Because you can be uber smart. You can know a whole bunch of things about a whole bunch of stuff. But if you don't know how to implement it, or you don't know how to help other people implement it, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how smart you are. And I know that hurts to hear. Some people are like, oh my gosh. And I'm going to tell you, like, because, I was thinking about after my run, I was cooling off in my pool, and I was thinking about how am I going to say this? What am I going to say? And it was funny because I was like, oh, maybe I should just tell people. Like, my GPA in college was not good, right? Like, not good. My knowledge about running and health and nutrition and athletics, my knowledge about all that stuff is really high. It's not stuff I learned in school, per se. Some of it did. A lot of it I learned from other coaches and watching the best coaches and from reading things afterwards from the people that are the experts that are putting information out. And so I've gained a lot of knowledge. But what I know how to do, and part of this is instinctive, part of this is learned from my grandfather, part of this is learned from other great coaches that taught me how to get people to implement the ideas that I need to get across. The ideas that are going to make them successful. Whether it's on the athletic field or in their diet. Like, what are you going to do that's going to change your life? The knowledge that these things are out there and they're bad for you. The knowledge that these things are out there and they're making you not be successful. The knowledge is out there. We all know these things. And I don't know how many people I talk to, especially when it comes to nutrition. How many people come up to me and say, I could probably use your help. I know this stuff's not good, but I keep going back to it. I know I'm not supposed to eat this stuff, but it's okay here and there, and it's okay, da da da. And there's always this, the knowledge is great. You're not implementing what you know. And therefore you're getting a health result that you don't want. The knowledge that you're supposed to run over the summer to get in shape for cross country when cross country season starts in the middle of August, everybody knows that. I went through a summer, I'll admit it. Everybody knows that if you read my book, you've read about it. Between my freshman and sophomore year in high school, I didn't run a lick. I gained 25 pounds. Like, the guys on the team made fun of me because I was so fat compared to everybody else and compared to where I was when I left. And it took me 3 months to get back in shape. And guess what? I never did that again. I ran every summer. Like, knowledge is great. I knew I was supposed to be running. I knew I was supposed to be in shape. But I didn't implement it. The knowledge that you're supposed to do the things you're supposed to do is great. But if you don't implement it, it doesn't matter. You can be the smartest person in the world. In your field, in your area, in whatever. If you don't know how to implement it, the knowledge doesn't do you any good. It's not powerful at all. And so, implementation of the knowledge you know. You don't have to know everything. If you know how to implement what you do know, you can be uber successful at whatever part of life you want to be in. Whether it's your own personal life, whether it's helping people, whether it's building a business, no matter what it is. And it's one of the reasons why you ask around, and if they tell you the truth, because I remember seeing this in a study before, reading about it in a book, that the majority of CEOs of companies were not straight A students. They were B, C students, the majority of CEOs, but they knew how to get things done. They knew how to implement. They hired the straight A students to work for them because the straight A students have the knowledge. The B, C students that have become CEOs knew how to implement, knew how to get people to do things. And so it's not about how much you know, it's about what you do with what you know. So that's a life lesson for this Friday. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll talk to y'all soon.